Welcome. Welcome to this week's episode of Wow, Love Light Inspire, the podcast, especially for women just like you, by inspirational women. It's the go-to podcast that introduces you to women who are industry leaders and experts in their field from all around the world. And they're going to talk to us about different topics, about different things that mean incredible things to them. Their stories are going to be really revealing, fascinating, and I hope that you actually get something from it where you can understand yourself better, others, and navigate life in general. I'm Lynne Roberts, your host, and I'm a productivity strategist. I help women, businesswomen, women find their direction. They lose procrastination and move on to live an amazing life. So if you need help getting motivated, getting yourself moving because you don't know what to do and you don't know how to do it, then I'm your gal. So you can find me on Facebook in the group Women of Love Light Inspiration Community, or my own page, Lynne Roberts. And come join us, connect, look, get in touch with me in some way, and I'm sure there's something that you'll be able to get from this group because we post on there daily all sorts of little inspirational tips and hints, and I do a soul reading, all sorts of stuff that we put on there, so you'll get something from it. Now, today we're going to speak to Lynne Rivero. Now, Lynne is an amazing woman. She has a card of the day where she reads a tarot card every day. And honestly, I really believe that she's just reading for me. She's not reading for anyone else, but she is. She's reading for everybody. And she's just incredible. She's a tarot reader. She's an intuitive. She's psychic. She can do absolutely everything. And we're going to be speaking on, what it means to do spiritual work today, and, how we can tell what is our intuition and our gut and when we're having downloads. So it's going to be a great conversation today. So have a listen. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. That would be good for us as well. We post new podcasts every Friday. So come back next Friday and listen to another great speaker after that. Now, you can always find us on Facebook too if you're looking for us. So, yeah. Hello, Lynne. How are you today?
Good, thank you.
Oh, brilliant. Now, I've done my intro and I've introduced you as the most amazing tarot reader, because every day that you read a card out, it's like you're reading it for me. So what is your background? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so the conscious story of my talents starts in 2003, where I bought a deck of tarot cards from Amazon. And I actually had been seeing a tarot lady for probably a few years, and I bought the same deck as her, a mother piece deck. And when it came, I was home alone, and husband and kids were out for whatever reason. I decided to do a little reading, and then I just freaked myself out that all this, I just followed the book. I just followed the spread and I did the cards and I read the meaning, and I was like, oh my God, it was everything that was going on in my life. And it actually freaked me out. I ended up going to bed and just hiding under the covers. But when I kind of brought myself out of that, I was like, okay, well, there's something here. And so I then just started playing with the deck, and I just would read for anyone and everyone. And then I actually studied formally studied with a beautiful, beautiful astrologer, tarot reader, shaman called Lynne Rivero, who has actually passed away now. And so I learned a lot of stuff from her. But then, of course, that leads you do all kinds of other things. It's not just tarot. So tarot is a tool that I use that's really comfort for the client. And for me, it's just cheat sheets. It just makes it really easy. It's like little flashcards that just give me lots of information in a very fast period of time. So I don't actually need the cards, but it just speeds things up and it makes people feel comfortable. Because if you're just sitting there saying this, that, and the other, they're like, well, how do you know that? But if you can show them a picture and show them, you know, how you've got to that, it's a lot more comforting. But I've definitely studied many things, many things. And, you know, not everything that you study resonates when you're on your spiritual journey, but the things that resonate really resonate. And the teachers that connect with you that resonate really resonate. And so my advice to anyone who wants to explore anything spiritual is, if you feel drawn to that teacher, then that's the right teacher for you at that moment.
Yes.
Do you have to agree with 100% of what they're teaching? Absolutely not. If you take 12% from there and 4% from there and 80% of that and 20% of that, and then you become this organic blend of, you know, something that's authentically you. And so I couldn't really say that there's one thing that's led me to here. It's bits and pieces of many things. And then you get to the point where, you know, you don't need teachers anymore because you're connected directly to source and your angels and guides, and you're getting the information direct.
Yes.
And the truth is, we're all getting the information from the same place. We're just processing it differently and we're holding space differently. And so I'm not a mainstream tarot reader. I'm going to hit you between the eyes. This is where you're in the way. Let's get moving. And so that's not for everyone, right? Not everyone wants to do the hard work. You know, I remember someone rang me once and they're like, I want you to tell me this, that, and the other. I said, if you're looking for a, you know, lollipop reading, like, I'm not for you, but go and find someone else, because I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And so that's my strength. And I just don't get things wrong, really. And so that's why people trust me, and that's why they come back, because, oh, you said this, that happened.
Yeah. Yep.
Good intel. I have friends in high places who feed me good intel.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
But the real story is, even as a young child, I always had the right words for any situation. All throughout high school, people used to say all the time, you always know the right thing to say. And I now realise it wasn't my words. I'm the conduit for the information that comes through for you to hear what you want to, what you need to hear in that moment.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
And yeah, there's that saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yes.
And then when the student is ready, the teacher disappears.
And you've said two things there. One is we all need mentors, but we also need to move on from our mentors and keep being mentored by different people, because they bring different skills to the table.
100%. And what will happen is, you'll notice when you've outgrown a mentor, because you just won't be getting from them what you're looking for, right? You just will be left feeling a little bit unsatisfied. And that's just because you're meant to branch out somewhere else.
Yes.
And that's okay. You know, and that's the thing. Like, for me, if someone's working with me through an issue and they get through that issue, I don't hear from them for 5 years, I love that, because they don't need me.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. To get them through that. But then you've got the clients that are using me to pivot, to springboard, to be better. So it's not that they want to get through something, it's they now want to advance. And so you have that, you know, I have lots of clients that have monthly sessions. I have a couple of clients that have fortnightly or 3 weeks or, you know, weekly. But it's because they've got so much going on, and it's just to help them really with the shortcuts.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So,
because you also only hear what you're ready to hear at the time. So you might tell them X, Y, and Z, but they haven't heard Y and Z because they're still hanging on to X.
Exactly. And that's why I record all of my sessions. I record all of my sessions because, one, I want them to enjoy the experience, right? And not be trying to take notes or remember this or remember that. I want to record the session so they can listen to it again and they will hear things that they didn't hear. And even I had one lady contacted me after about 3 years, and she's like, look, I'll be honest with you. She said, I did a session with you 3 years ago and I wasn't feeling it. And back then I used to record things onto a CD.
Yeah.
She said, last week I pulled a book out of the bookshelf and the CD fell out and hit me on the head. And I thought, oh, I'm going to listen to that. And she said, everything you said happened. She said, that's why I'm back for a new installment. But at the time, she wasn't ready to hear that. She wasn't feeling it. She felt too confronted, which is fine. The seeds are being planted. So I don't mind that, because the seeds are planted. And sometimes when you set and forget, that's a good thing too.
Yes.
So you just plant the seed and you just, okay, give it a bit of water, a bit of sun, and help it move on. But that's the thing, you know, I use tarot as a daily tool for everyone, for myself, for everyone. And I'm picking up, like, card of the day. People are like, how come it resonates with so many of us? Because it's picking up the energy of the planet.
Yeah.
So we're all feeling the same thing because that's the energy of the planet. Like today, it's the solstice, and so everyone's feeling the solstice. And so it's just a little bit more magical today than it was yesterday, or than it will be tomorrow. And that's okay, right? So, yeah. But, yeah,
But that can't be true, because every card of the day is always about me. And it's like, oh, my God, how does this woman know exactly what I'm going through?
Because at the moment, I'm the vessel that your angels and guides are using to navigate you through what you're going through. Right. So, and that's the thing. It's not me doing anything. I'll take credit for holding space. I'm the conduit for the information. And I dedicate my life to that. That's what I do full time. I make a living from that. And I take it very serious. And that's the thing. Anyone who thinks it's them, well, they're an ego, because it's not us. We're servants of the universe. And yeah, I started doing card of the day because my guides told me to.
Yep.
And I was moving from Melbourne to Townsville. And so my guide said, all their clients are going to freak out. And they're all going to freak out, and they're going to be, she's going. You need to give them some kind of comfort every day, so that they continue to feel connected to you, and they don't feel abandoned or deserted or anything like that.
Yes.
So that's why I started card of the day. And it's been almost 6 years now. And the only time I didn't do card of the day, I was on a cruise with my mum and didn't have any access to anything. So other than that, I've done it every day for nearly 6 years. So
wow.
And it's helped so many people. It's just wonderful.
Oh, look, I must admit, every morning I'm now, for the last 2 or 3 months, I've been tuning in every morning. And yours is the first one that comes up every morning too. And if it doesn't come up, it means you haven't done it. Lynne, where are you? Why haven't you done it?
Because I don't work Wednesdays and Sundays, and so I don't get up as early on Wednesdays and Sundays. So it probably comes a bit later on Wednesdays and Sundays. So like a bit of a lie-in, which is the truth. But yeah, because it's a daily thing, and so you don't want to see me before I've done my face, so drag myself out of bed. So that's why it's later some days.
What I really like is you actually talk about the shadows and working through your shadow self. Now, a lot of tarot card readers, I've never heard any tarot card reader ever talk about your shadows, but that is a really, really important part of
it. Really is. It really, and I think
makes us move on.
Yeah, and I think that the reason that I can work through the shadows is because I studied with Linda McQueen, who is actually a shaman. And so, we would work through the shadow stuff. And like when I learned all of my astrology through her as well, but we did it in a shamanic way. And so, yeah, she taught me all about the shadows. And look, it came up the other day. Actually, that's the first time I've actually mentioned, I think, the shadow side on card of the day.
Yeah.
But that's what came through for me, because everyone obviously needed to look at their shadow side. And plus, we're in winter, so it's more dormant and it's more inward. And so it is a time to look at the shadows.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and, the shadow side is, usually not that nice, but we've all got it, and we all need to see that. You need to see the polarity
Yes.
You need to see the light and the dark, and you need to see, even the yin yang sign, the white has got this little bit of black and the black has got this little bit of white, because you need that, the contrast.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if we don't deny the truth of that we have what we don't like and see in others, then we're not being truthful and honest to ourselves.
Yeah. Well, the real kicker with that is, the one person that's given you the pip right now is reflecting to you something that you're doing to yourself.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to swallow. When you're in an office space and there's someone who's just being so negative and just so in their own way and just such an obstacle, such resistance, you've just got to sit and you've got to go, okay, angels, where am I doing that? And I've had moments like that. I remember one day I had 3 clients in a row that were just awful, just stuck, aggressive, didn't want to be helped. They were just woeful. And after the third one left, I was standing in my hallway. I said, angels, whatever I've got that's brought me that, please show me what it is, because I cannot work like this. This is too hard. I don't want clients like that. It's too hard. So show me my shadow side. And then they showed me, I was like, oh, right. Okay. And then I went off and I did what I had to do. And then, business kind of went back to normal. It's the same. I don't want to work with clients that want me to give them all the answers. Not so much give them the answers, because I do give people answers, because I don't want if I've got the answer, I want them to have it. But I don't want them to feel like I have to hold their hand all the time. I want them to be empowered and go off and be the best version of who they can be. I want them to not need me. Sure, use me as part of your tools and part of your assets and part of your resources, but not to be codependent. I don't want that. And so, I really want to work with people that really want to be the best version of who they can be. And I remember that day, I'm like, there's got to be something in my shadow side, because it was just so obviously difficult.
Yes.
That particular day. So, and it takes courage to look at your stuff. It really takes courage. And it takes courage to be on a spiritual journey. It's easy to be a homogenized zombie and just go along. This will do. There's nothing more. It's easy because you don't challenge yourself. It's really hard to be on your spiritual journey, but it's so rewarding.
Do you know what? I wish I could just be a zombie sometimes. I really do. Yeah.
But then you'll sit there and you'll just go,
I'd be bored to tears.
Is this all there is? Yeah. But that's the thing. Once you're on your spiritual journey, you're on that journey, and it's constant growing and evolving. And if you can get yourself to the point where you truly trust your intuition without question, you can save yourself a lot of time and a lot of angst. But it takes years and years and years of that second guessing. How many times do you have, I'm going to spill my drink, and you don't move your drink? 5 minutes later, you spill your drink. You're like, I knew that was going to happen. And I remember when I lived in Victoria, we had like glass panels in our door, and we had a table. The corner was right near there. And I saw someone's going to open the door and smash the glass. Anyway, I reckon it was 2 days later, my son walked in, the door hit the table and it cracked, and he was just mortified. I said, actually, that's my fault, because I saw that happening 2 days ago and didn't move the table. He's like, Mum, you're unbelievable. Like, he was surprised I was mad, but I was like, that was my fault, because I saw that and I didn't pay attention. And that's the same when you think about food that you're eating. I shouldn't be eating dairy. You might just have this feeling, I shouldn't be eating dairy. I just don't, it's not good for me. It doesn't, and it's just your body doesn't like dairy right now. Or maybe I shouldn't eat strawberries. Maybe there's something going on there. Maybe I shouldn't eat citrus. Trust those little things that come in and make those changes, and just do it little by little by little until it comes to the really big things. Just trusting your intuition. Because everyone's clairvoyant. Not everyone's plugged in. So I'm plugged in. I've got a nice, strong satellite. I've got lots of channels. But that's come with years and years and years of being in this space all the time, because I'm open all the time. And just on that, when I first started to consciously be open and receive information, I made a commitment to myself that I was only open to light. I was not open to anything dark, because you can work with the dark side. I didn't want to. And so I said, I'm open all the time. I will share as much of my positive energy as I possibly can with everyone I come in contact with, never to the detriment of my own energy field, and I will never take on anyone else's negative energy. And I'm not open to anything dark. And so even to the point that I've had clients ring me and say, hey, I've got this dark entity attached to me, whatever. I say, I'm not going to be able to help you because I don't play with that. So I won't be able to see it because I'm not open. And so I set that up as an automatic system, and then I go through life just being open and helpful all the time. Now, I don't go anywhere uninvited. So if I randomly meet someone, I'm not shoving information down their throat of like you're in the wrong job, or you need to move house, or you're about to have a baby, or this or that or the other. But when you talk to someone, you just notice things, and you just hear things, and you just know things. And so sometimes if they're complaining about something, I might try to open the door in the way that, well, have you thought about this? And then they'll be like, oh, that's a bit strange. But I try to not do that because it can become very tiring. And so I don't go anywhere uninvited, but you can't really switch it off either.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you don't want to be going through switch it on, switch it off, switch it on, switch it off. I mean, to me, that just seems like a lot of work. I'd rather just be open. And if you think about using your channel to grab information, it's like a muscle. So if you don't use it, it doesn't work very well. You know, it might have rusty pipes. You go to the gym. The first day you go to the gym, not that I go to the gym, that's not my thing, but you go to the gym, the first day you lift weights, and the smallest weight feels so heavy. But if you go every day and you lift that weight, after 30 days, you're lifting more. And you're getting stronger, and it's becoming easier, and you don't have to consciously think about it. You just pick them up and you just do what you got to do. Right? And your body remembers what to do. It's the same with your intuition. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And your gut will never lead you astray. The monkey mind gets in and leads you down the garden path. But your gut never tells you the wrong information. But what happens with the human brain is the first thing that comes in is your gut, is your intuition. But then the brain gives 17 reasons why that can't be true. And we focus on, right? Whereas we have to go delete. It's like when someone says to you, you say, oh, I think I'm going to go for my dream job. And someone says, you can't do that. That's where you need delete. And I reject that from my morphic field, because what they're really saying is they wouldn't be able to do that. But what happens is they bring your vibe down, but your gut's telling you, you need to go for that dream job because it's circling. And you just got this feeling, I need to jump on Seek. I need to call a recruitment agency. I need to talk to an ex-colleague, or you've just got this feeling that something's coming. Jump on a platform where that thing that you're thinking about can find you.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm rambling on, I'm sure.
No. What you're saying is very true, because look, I've started writing at night time. So I journal at night, and I suddenly got, you need to share this with the world. So I call it my soul reading from last night. So I have been starting to share them. And what's coming out is really quite profound at times. It's just pure wisdom that just comes out, falls out, and I hear it in my brain. And as I hear it, I write it. Yeah, it doesn't come back. It's just literally channeled through.
You're taking dictation.
Yes.
From the universe.
Yes.
And that's what I'm doing, but I'm not writing it down. I've got to the point where I can just hear it and it comes out my mouth. And you get to a point during the journey where you're like, are these my words or are these their words? And you're not sure which is which. But then it gets to the point where it's like, it's actually irrelevant. I'm the conduit, so it's coming through me. But it's never my opinion. It's what needs to be said in that very moment. And that's why even when I was young, I knew the right things to say beyond my years, because it wasn't actually me. It was me being the conduit, not consciously knowing. Now I consciously know that it's my subconscious, which is funny. But look, it's not for the faint-hearted, a spiritual journey, but it is so rewarding, because what happens, the things that just didn't mean anything before mean everything now, and the things that mean everything before mean nothing now. It just changes. It changes your whole perspective. And especially, I think one of the most profound books that I read, it's a pretty easy one, but in the early days, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Rodriguez. And so the four agreements are: don't take things personally, don't make assumptions, always do your best, and be impeccable with your word.
Impeccable with your word.
Impeccable with your word. So that means say what you mean and mean what you say.
Yep.
Right? Just always tell the truth. Always tell the truth. Always be direct. And there's a way to be direct without being rude. Right? And that's the thing. Sometimes people say things to us and it like hurts our feelings, or we misunderstand. It's totally okay to say, what did you mean by that? Put it back to them. Because people like to kind of dump on other people, especially people who aren't happy. Insecure people are usually not nice, and they want to drag you down, because if you're down with them, they can feel okay. But if you start elevating, and this is the thing, once you start elevating, people drop off.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't understand you. They're confused. Yeah. You've changed. Well, yeah, that's the idea. And it's okay to outgrow people. Just because you've been best friends since kindergarten doesn't mean you have to be best friends when you're 80. You don't have to. And that even includes family members. Sometimes we outgrow our family members, or they get confused. They don't understand you, and they think you've gone weird. For me, you've gone magical. Right?
Yes.
But if everyone's a TV and we all started on channel 7 and you've gone up to channel 9, well, they can't see you. They can't see you. They can't hear you. They don't understand you. And then you elevate. And what happens is you don't want to be in an environment where you're diluting your soul essence, where you're diluting authentic you. And you think about, a good analogy for this is, if you think about a beautiful, big, strong oak tree, if you whittle away at it, it can become a toothpick and it can be snapped.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, when we dull our shine, when we dumb down for people who aren't as smart as us or who aren't emotionally intelligent. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yes.
If you're the highest vibrating person in the room, you're in the wrong room, because you want to surround yourself with people who are doing it better than you so that you can learn and grow.
Yes.
Right? And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to let go of people that we truly love, that we've outgrown, but we can't be who we're going to be next aligned with them. And that's just the way it is.
Yes.
They're welcome to elevate and come with us.
Yes.
Of course. But usually they've gone as far as they want to go.
One of the biggest tragedies in my life was losing my best friend. And it still hurts to this day. But I realise now that we could never be friends now, because I've outgrown her. and our values aren't aligned anymore. And it's like, I understand why the universe did what it did.
Yeah. And the best way through that is to send that person love, light, peace, and harmony.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Forgiveness.
Yep.
Right. Because just love, light, peace, and harmony, forgiveness. Yep. Because the truth of the matter is, when they came into your life, they were the perfect fit.
Oh, absolutely.
And you were meant to learn whatever you were meant to learn, had a soul contract for that period of time.
Yep.
But not everyone's contract is with us for the whole lifetime here on earth.
Yes.
Sometimes they pop in to wake us up. Sometimes they just pop in to show us we're on the wrong road. Sometimes they pop in to make us feel good. Sometimes they pop in to challenge us. Whatever it is.
Yes.
Lifetime, reason, season, lifetime.
Yes.
You know, our soul friends weave in and weave out. They pop in, they pop out, they pop in, they pop out. And it's the same. When the student's ready, the teacher appears. When you're elevating, people drop off, but when they drop off, all of a sudden there's room for people that I'm excited, and people who I'm excited. You know, always follow your highest excitement.
Yeah.
And the purpose of any relationship is for the two people to be the best version of who they can be. I learned that from Bashar, which is it's very interesting. Bashar is interesting on YouTube. It's a guy called Daryl Anker who channels a being from another planet. So Bashar is the being that he channels, and it's very interesting. And so, I learned that from him, that the purpose of every relationship is for both people to be the best version of who they can be. And so if you're not being the best version of you in that relationship, then that relationship has served its purpose and it's time to move on. And it's not cutthroat. We leave them behind with love, light, peace, and harmony. Thanks for the lessons. But I can't, you're welcome to come with me, but I can't hold back to make you feel comfortable when you're not doing the work.
Yes. Yes. You're so right.
Right? And how many people know when they go and get fit, their other friends don't like it, or they go and get some amazing career job and their friends don't like it? You want to be surrounded by people who are cheering you on, whether you're putting on weight, losing weight, building muscle, losing muscle, quitting a job, getting a job, whatever. They're there, and they're just unconditional love without fear.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the Holy Grail, really. I think, if you can find that. Right? But you've got to remember, don't take things personally. So when someone can't handle you anymore and think that you're a bit much, right? It's my best friend. She thinks everyone would love you, Lynne. I'm like, not everybody loves me, because I'm not easy to be around, because I'm not going to let you wallow, and I'm not going to let you be a diluted version of who you are, and that's confronting. And so not everybody can handle that, and I'm all good with that. But don't take things personally. People who feel challenged by you, that's not about you. It's about them. Don't make assumptions. Don't assume everything's about you. It's about them. And always do your best. Do your best on a day where you've had plenty of sleep and you're feeling well is better than if you're unwell or you're jet lagged or whatever, or triggered.
Absolutely.
Right? And be impeccable with your word. Ask questions. I mean, that's the best way to go. What did you mean by that? Did you want to talk about it? You know, when someone says some little derogatory mark, do we want to unpack that? Like, is there something that you want to say? But we don't. We kind of just go, that hurt. I'm going to bury that, and I'm going to walk away, and I'm going to stew on it.
And I'm going to hold it. Yep.
Right?
I'm going to let it eat up inside. Yep, exactly.
Right. The moment. I mean, it's great when you can get to the point where you kind of say, have you been triggered? This has triggered something in you. Now, when someone's been triggered and you bring it to their attention that they've been triggered, they're probably going to escalate what they're doing. But once they do that, they start to calm down, you can start to unpack that. And especially, you know, if people in relationships could just be open and honest, would just be so powerful. But it's just,
Oh, wouldn't it?
It seems so difficult for so many to do that.
How does astrology work with all of that as well? Because we've all got a numerology. How does it all tie together?
So imagine astrology. You could talk about astrology for 15 years and still not cover everything. But the natal chart, for me, this is what I saw. This is what I saw in a vision one time when I was doing a healing on someone. The angels and guides showed me this. So your natal chart is where the planets are the moment you draw breath. And so that determines, it's pretty much the blueprint for this lifetime.
Yep.
And that's what I saw when I was doing a healing for this person. Their natal chart drifted in and it was on the blue paper like a blueprint, and it just dropped in. And I was like, oh, that's the blueprint. That's the blueprint for this lifetime. Same numerology. You've chosen what numbers, that's the blueprint for this lifetime. Now, what you do with that, we always have free will. What you do with that is up to you, but it shows your habits and how you tick and why you do the things that you do and why you do them the way you do them. And so for me, it's like a roadmap into who you are. So if I look at someone's chart, and I studied astrology for 6 years, but honestly, I only just scratched the surface, and I got out of it. It was more the personal planets and the houses and the zodiac signs and how they tick. It was more the kind of emotional stuff for me rather than the mathematical stuff. Where are the planets and what are the aspects and all of that kind of thing. It didn't interest me beyond that. And so I like to, if someone books in for an astrology session, you need to know what time you're born, where you were born and the date, right? And not everybody knows when they were born. Some countries, they don't, they take a whole, like 5 kids at a time to go and register their birth, and they've all got the same birthday, the day they did the paperwork. So it's not as easy as you might think.
Yeah.
But if someone books in for an astrology session, so I go through the natal chart and say, this is how you tick. And this is why you do the things that you do. And anything that's going on in their life, you can find that in the chart and say, oh, well, that's happening because this is there. And then that's your habit. So if that's not working for you, you've got to concentrate and you've got to program yourself to act differently in those situations, because your fallback position is, this is what I do. And an example for me in my own chart, one of the challenges in my chart is I have Venus in Virgo. So my desire is to be of service. And that works really well for me, except when I be of service to someone when I don't want to do that. And then it goes across and it hits Uranus. I get smashed. It goes across to Saturn and Pluto, and, everything blows up in my face. And that's if I'm saying yes, if I want to say no, or no, if I want to say yes. That's where I get caught out. Yep. And so I have to know, yes, I like to be of service, but if I don't want to be of service, I shouldn't do it because it's going to bite me on the bum.
So you're not listening to your intuition when you do that?
Well, it's like a trapdoor in your chart. Yeah. Right. And it's like a blind side for your intuition. And the thing is with intuition, it's really hard to do your own stuff. And if there's things that you need to learn, you're going to learn them. That the universe gives you a veil that you can't see it until you do see it. And you're like, how did I not see that? It's because you weren't meant to see that, because you had to learn this, and now you can see it properly. But I learned that by doing shamanic astrology, like stepping into the natal wheel. That was the work that I did with Linda McQueen, which was like phenomenal. So, and then numerology, I don't really know a lot about numerology. It hasn't been a modality that I've been that interested in, but it's pretty much the same thing. It's a mathematical equation around how you tick and what your personalities are. And and the people that work with numerology, it's fantastic. They're very good at it, and you can get lots of insight into how you tick. When you understand how you tick, you can use that to advance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah, there's lots to think, because I also like Enneagram. I don't know if you've ever heard of Enneagram. I love Enneagram, which is a personality, and exactly the same sort of thing. Once you understand how you tick, then you can understand why you do what you do. You understand your motivations.
Yeah, and then you have to kind of say to yourself, okay, well, that's fine. If that's how I tick, well, that's fine. Is that serving me? If the answer is yes, then it's fine, leave it be. If the answer is no, well, okay, so I've got to put a bit of work in so that I don't have that automatic reaction. I have to think about that. Something I have to consciously navigate.
Yeah.
But it's all about growing. And the thing is, whenever you find something out about yourself that maybe you're not proud about, there's no guilt, there's no shame, there's no judgment. It's just information and learning. Because the last thing we want is to put on a shame suit about something. There's no need for shame. There's no need for shame, guilt, judgment at all.
Yeah. So how do people know when they're channeling something or when they're just thinking it? Is there any particular?
It's kind of a fine line. Sorry, that water went down the wrong way. It's kind of a fine line. Wait, let me get over it. Let me have another little drink. To use your intuition, you have to be able to use your imagination, because you have to be able to imagine that you're in the place you want to be so that you can attract it in. Right? So you do have to use magic. You do have to use imagination. And that's why, the spiritual journey is a lot harder for Aquarians, because they're like, give me the data, give me the facts, explain it to me. And you can't explain magic and imagination. And so you do need an imagination and you need wishful thinking. But your intuition, if you're thinking to yourself, okay, here's the thing. I think I'd like $100,000, right? I want $100,000. That's your thinking. Okay, then I'm going to manifest that. Okay, I want 6 figures, right? I would say go 6 figures, because then it can go up to, $1 billion, right?
Yeah, 999,000.
Don't limit yourself, right? But, not everyone's journey here is about money either. But anyway, so you're like, okay, I want $100,000. I can visualize myself with $100,000. Now, when you think to yourself, okay, I'm going to open the front door and there's going to be a bag of money with $100,000 in it. Well, that's probably not really going to work. But if when you're having that thought, you feel it in your body, your gut just goes, that could actually happen. And you hear there's a job that's paying 6 figures, right? So then you go jump on seat. Or you just get this feeling, oh, I could get that as a bonus, or I could get that as a signing on thing, or I could they might say, sell your house, because maybe it's gone up $100,000 or something. You'll get something that comes in. So it starts with this playful thing, and then your gut will come in and say, do this. But then that's where we don't do that, and then the thing doesn't happen. Because we go, oh, that can't be true. Or we go to fear and we go, oh, I can't sell my house. Where am I going to live? Right? But maybe you're about to get a job in Sydney that pays 6 figures. You need to sell your house because you're moving to Sydney. You just don't know, right? And that's where you've just got to, it's just practice. It's like that muscle. The more you use it, the better it becomes. But wishful thinking and imagination is how you manifest. Believing that it can happen is powerful, right? You have to get through the self-doubt. And honestly, manifesting, it defies logic. You can't explain it because it's magic. And imagine there's all these things out there, and they just drift in. You just get this feeling. It's like when you're like, I feel like I should call my dad. I feel like I'm gonna hear from Dad. The phone rings, it's your dad, right? Or you pick up the phone and Dad says, oh, I was just thinking about you, or whatever. It's just Or there's a friend that you're like, oh, I haven't seen them for ages. And then boop, a message comes in, hey, let's go get coffee. Right?
Yeah.
That's when you just go, oh, that was my intuition. I knew that before it happened. And respectfully honor, oh, I actually knew that was going to happen. That's my intuition. And look, if you want to practice, when you're at the supermarket and you're picking fruit, just look at the fruit and see, if you're looking at the pears, which one lights up. And it'll be the one that's the juiciest, right? And then you put that one in a bag. And then what's the next one that lights up? You just get a sense of this one has grabbed my attention. And just try that. Just try little things. You know, what are those lollies? Clinkers. You know how they're different colours? Just, if I knew what colour this was, what would I know? Oh, it's pink. Take a bite, it's probably pink. Right? Just practice with a little something like that. Just little things. Just using your intuition. A great one is to just close your eyes and say, if I knew what to do in this situation, what would I know? And then some kind of word or sentence or picture or colour or something will come in. Then the brain goes, really? You sure? Then you're like, no, I'm not sure. I mean, I've made some big life decisions on a whim, on intuition, just going, you need to move, do it. You need to take this action. This has to happen. I'm like, okay. I'll just go and I do it.
So I'm going to ask you a question that I tend to talk about a lot, but I'm not sure that I even know how to do it. And yet I know it's what I need to do, but I don't know 100% how to do it. And it's, how do you surrender to the universe and just say, okay, show me the way and trust that it will be there?
And that's it. I surrender, show me the way. That's exactly what you do. Angels, I surrender, show me the way. Right? And that's the thing, when you can get to the point where you let go of control, that's when the real magic starts. Because what the universe can concoct compared to what we can think up is extremely, vastly different. You know, we think too small. The angels and guides, I surrender, show me the way. And that's what you've got to do. So when you think about, what am I going to do with this? I surrender, show me the way. And then notice what turns up, because you're asking them to show you the way. So when the door opens, make sure you step through it. So you go, I surrender, show me the way. And then a friend rings up and says, I've heard about this, that, and the other. You're like, well, that's interesting news. But you don't do anything about it. But the information's come in, and you pay attention. It's really good. When I was first starting out, I had this system where something comes in and grabs my awareness, I would like tag it. Okay, that's come in. That's interesting. So as an example, let's just say I have a thought, oh, I wonder what kinesiology is. Okay. Then a week later, one of my friends turns up and says, oh, I had a kinesiology session. It was amazing. I found out this and that and the other. I'm like, oh, there's two. That's a coincidence. And then you go to your letterbox and there's something in there, or like you're on Facebook and in your newsfeed, this thing comes up with this kinesiologist that's around the corner. I'll go, okay, that's a thread. 1, 2, 3. I clearly need to have a kinesiology session. And so I would go and have a kinesiology session.
Yeah.
Or it'd be a book I need to read, or a course I need to do, or whatever. But yeah, once there's 3 things, that's a thread for me. So the first thing is, oh, it's curiosity.
Yep.
Oh, 2 things, that's a coincidence. 3, I'm like, that's a thread. I need to explore that. Because I remember the last corporate job I had, wasn't looking to change jobs. I was on a walk with my friend, and it just came in, you need to jump on Seek. I said, oh, I've just got this feeling I've got to jump on Seek. So when I went home, I jumped on Seek and I was like, I don't even know what I would put in here. Anyway, I put in some information. 3 jobs popped up. I was reading the first job. I was like, oh my God, this is perfect for my skill set. Like, this job sounds amazing. And I heard, apply. And so, funnily, I think a couple of months before, I'd updated my resume because after every Christmas, I'm like, I'm leaving this job. I can't stand it, because I stayed there for 6 years and I couldn't stand it. I've stayed far too long. And so every January I would redo my CV. So it was up to date. And so I sent it off, and then I ended up getting this job, and it was such a wonderful job, so challenging, but exactly right for me. No resistance, fantastic. And then that was the last corporate job I had, because after that I just was doing this full time, because my mainstream job got in the way of my spiritual job.
Yes.
So, and that's the thing, if you're starting up your spiritual business and you've got a mainstream job, well, keep your mainstream job and build up your spiritual business. And then when your mainstream job gets in the way, you just switch it over and you just do that full time, because it's hard to get corporate money in a spiritual job, especially when you're first starting out, right? So you just kind of work it out. But yeah, I wasn't even looking for a job, but it was like, you need to jump on Seek, and I did it. I paid attention. Basically, you've got to listen and you've got to do what you're told. Without question. Without question. And that takes real courage. But the rewards are amazing. But yeah, like I said, it's not for the faint-hearted at all, because it's constant challenging. And then you get to periods of time where you're just still. If I think about my career in the spiritual realm, there's been periods of time where I've been quite still, and then I'm just like, oh, this is strange. But that's when the biggest growth comes. When you're still, when you're not doing in action, and you're still, and the universe goes, hey, we've been trying to give you this, but you've been busy off doing that, chasing that, following that. But we've been trying to give you this. We needed you to be still so we could show it to you.
Yeah.
Or you're still because the thing that you're going to do next is not quite ready for you.
Yeah.
The world's not quite ready.
Yeah, I hear you. I often find that I need just downtime, so then I can bring in stuff. And when I have downtime, even standing in the shower, I can come up with the most amazing stuff.
Everyone gets intuition in the shower, because your brain isn't working. We're doing these automatic things that we do in the shower. The brain's having a little rest, so the intuition can go, hey, look at this. It bypasses the brain always thinking all the time. That's why everyone has every great idea in the shower, because the brain is sitting still for a minute, and that's where the information can come in. So that's actually very, very common. So the things that the ideas you have in the shower are the great ideas.
Yeah, they are. And sometimes just sitting there watching television, I'm not even watching television, but my brain suddenly goes, and all this stuff comes in.
Yeah, and look at it, like some people meditate while they're working, or while they're knitting or crocheting, or doing some kind of activity. Not everyone meditates still. And so when you're doing this, if you're cooking, if I'm chopping veggies or I'm cooking, I love to cook, and a lot of information comes in for me, personal me, during that time. But yeah, look, it's a constant flow of information. It's very exciting. It's loads of fun.
Yeah, it certainly is. Lynne Rivero, you have been absolutely fantastic today. Thank you so much for speaking to us. You have just filled us with so much insight. Now, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, the easiest way is, I don't know, I found you through Facebook, but...
Look, the easiest way is probably Facebook, and jump on, send a friend request, start watching Card of the Day. So it's my personal page, not the business page. It's my personal page. Jump on, watch Card of the Day. If it resonates, and enjoy it. And then, if you want to have a session, then you'll know that you want to have a session, and the time will be right. Just send me a message.
No, fantastic. Thank you so much for today. It's been
great.
Welcome.
Thanks for inviting me to share the space, and it's been a pleasure.
Beautiful. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Thank you so much for listening today to Wow, Love, Light, Inspire, the podcast, especially for women like you, by inspirational women. So I'm sure you got something from listening to Lynne today. She is just an absolutely, totally inspiring woman with an incredible gift and ability. So yeah, I'm sure. I know you would have got something from it because I certainly did. Now, every Friday we release a new podcast and we have a different speaker coming in speaking about something different. It's going to be very inspiring, woman. I can promise you that. So subscribe so you never miss another episode and leave us a review. We'd really appreciate that. Now you can find us on Instagram and Facebook in the group Women of Love, Light and Inspiration community. Come join us, join in the conversation, connect and get in touch with me. We post something there every Friday or every day actually. So we'll be putting hints and tips out there and you can join us and be a part of our community. Or you can also go to the website too. We've got a website, www.lovelightandinspire.com. There's lots of stuff on there as well, lots of blogs that I've personally written on all sorts of different topics. So come along and have a look on there as well. And thank you to Nissa, who's put this together for us. She's our production manager and she's just fantastic. And I really want to thank Lynne today. Look, we have some amazing guests come onto the podcast and Lynne was certainly no exception to the rule. She was just brilliant today. So thank you, Lynne. Now, also, you need to remember that anything that we speak about is just general information. It's not about you. So if you need help, you need support by someone, please get in touch with someone, talk to an expert, consult with your doctor or whoever you need to do. That would be good. And thank you for listening. It's Lorraine signing out.